Hello, I'd like to talk about the government's two proposed referendums on gender issues. Isn't it incredible, in the midst of a housing crisis where young people cannot buy a house or even rent an apartment, when the cost of living and especially the cost of energy has gone through the roof, no pun intended, that there's so many crises, like 1/3 of all hotel rooms in the country are taken up by economic migrants, stroke asylum seekers, that they're destroying this industry. And yet in the midst of that, what are the two crucial areas, referenda, that this PC woke government are pushing through? It's on the matter of erasing the words woman and mother from the Irish Constitution. I'll tell you what it's all about. You can see in the articles there in the Indo and the Irish Times, it's about redefining, redefinition. One, they say that the language is sexist, i.e. sexist. That means, that in the human species, there is male and female. There's such a thing as, in biology, as sex. That's right. Biological reality. Humans are dimorphic. They exist as male and female. Different gametes are male and female. So XX are female, XY are male. Yes, that's right. Sex exists. It's a biological reality. What do they call this sexist? Sexist language. To say that there's male and female is to blaspheme against this idea of equality, that everybody is the same. Not of the same value and dignity. Everybody is the same. So what does that lead to? What does their gender identity ideas lead to? I'll tell you what it leads to. So they want to get rid of the biological reality of male and female and introduce the ideas, as they have in Spain already, of parent one and parent two. There'll be no longer father and mother. You may talk like that among your friends and your family, but legally they want to erase the words woman and mother from the Constitution and from the legal protection that flows from that. So at the moment, it's clear in the Constitution that there's a biological reality of males and females, of fathers and mothers. They want to remove woman, especially, from this significant constitutional recognition, from the legal protections that flow from that. They say they want to get rid of sexist language. They want to ignore biological reality of male and female. And look at the consequences today. We read in the Mirror that in a primary, Educate Together primary school in Dublin, now that the children have been instructed by the school to refer to one of their teachers as they, them. Now it sounds like an American comedy, but to think that this so suddenly is happening in Ireland, and not just as a joke, but this, you can see this American gender identity, intersectional ideology flying over from the States on the airwaves, on TV, in the thesis, academic works of people like Roderick O'Gorman, Minister Roderick O'Gorman, who, would you believe, is a homosexual who's Minister for Children. And he's written the basic texts arguing for this transsexual recognition. I have a problem with transsexual recognition. I've seen many things which are trans. You have transistors, you have transport, you have, hey, maybe I'm one, transparent. But there's no such thing in nature among humans as a transsexual. As I said, humans are dimorphic as male and female. And in every cell of a male, there's XY chromosomes. In every cell of a female, there's XX chromosomes. It is biologically impossible to change from being a male to a female and vice versa. It would be a biological fiction to say otherwise. And of course, it is a legal fiction to pretend the human body and biology does not exist. And did you see that article today about the teachers, the pupils being instructed to use the word they, them to the teacher? The newspaper says, oh, it is unknown if the teacher is, what was the term? Gender fluid or transsexual. Gender fluid, what it changes what it calls itself. But certainly, gender fluid, that's the stuff you keep under the sink, isn't it? The kitchen sink. But look where all this is going. This is getting rid of male and female out of the Constitution, out of legal protection, introducing by a group of, they're misogynists, aren't they? All these men, Leo Varadkar, Roderick O'Gorman, all these people who want to get rid of male and female. They are misogynists. They want to rid the Irish Constitution of the word woman and mother, the only times that they ever occur in the Irish Constitution. And they want to get rid of they want to ignore the reality of biological sex and introduce this fantasy world where sex does not exist and all there is things like parent 1, parent 2, all their 64 genders or 120 something genders. Well, I believe there's as many genders as there are people, and as many genders as there are people's imagination. But there's only two sexes, male and female, and the rest, that's made up. Intersex, maybe, I don't know, 1 in a million kind of mutation. But male and female, the two sexes, the rest is made up in people's heads. And it's very dangerous to base legal texts and the law on a rejection of physical and biological reality, which is the distinction between male and female and the permanence between male and female, and that it is biologically impossible to change from being a male to a female and vice versa. I am predicting something now, that this hobby horse, this gender identity, intersectional, that's bullshit, let's call it what it is, of the academic, political, media elites in Ireland, which is the NGO class, the political class, the media class, the big uni party, will be defeated by the people in this, because the vast majority of people in this country know that what this government is putting forward is baloney, it is make-believe, it is dangerous, it leads to the woman being beat up by men in women's changing rooms, it leads to women having their heads smashed in boxing rings and wrestling rings and MMA sport. It leads to children being indoctrinated by wacko perverts in school, having their bodies mutilated by adults who don't have their best interest at heart. What it all leads to. And I'm sure that the vast majority of people in Ireland will reject this elite, sick ideology of gender ideology and hold on to the reality that biology is important. We should stick to the reality of life, and the legal order should be based on reality and the biology rather than gender ideology. So my name is Hermann Kelly. I've stood against this very clearly for the last 5 years when it started to arise. The Irish Freedom Party, of which I am president, has done the same. If you are a concerned parent, that you are disgusted and worried, that you're a concerned parent, worried that your children, that this PAP is being pushed upon your children in school or in public libraries, come join us in the Irish Freedom Party to oppose this dangerous nonsense, be imposed by our government, and come fight the good fight with us, and together we will defeat this out of touch with reality, out of touch with the Irish government, with the Irish people, as this government is. Come join us in the fight to defend the reality of womanhood, motherhood, and to protect children from this dangerous ideology. I'd like to take up a few points that they will try to fool the Irish people with. This constitution has got nothing to do with keeping women in the home. That term, that word in this article doesn't exist in the binding Irish version, which has the word family or household. It doesn't have the word home, so it's nothing about keeping women in the home. And anyway, this article of the Constitution has never constrained or forced women to be in the home. It's about protecting the option if women choose to be look after the children in the home. And the second point on that is that it's come before the Supreme Court, famously McMahon versus the Attorney General in 1995, and basically, as is common in the Supreme Court, that Oireachtas has the sole power to decide the fiscal policy of the state, and it cannot be defended in the Supreme Court. You cannot go to the Supreme Court and look for money from the state because you're a mother in the home. You don't get any extra money. That's the way it is. These two constitutional referenda are about removing the word mother, getting rid of the idea of male and female parents, and getting rid of the idea of sex, and introducing this parent 1, parent 2, parent 3, parent 4. You see in the comments in the Indo and Irish Times that Varadkar talks about, we're going to change the definition of family. So we are erasing the idea of sex language of male and female, mother, father, getting rid of sex language of biology, introducing the terms, I suspect, of gender ideology, parent 1, parent 2, parent 3, parent 4, and it says about redefining the family. Why does the government want to get rid of or redefine the family? Because the family is it's like a castle against the power of the state. It's like an estate on its own. And the state wants more power. We can see there in children's rights referendum, basically was about taking power away from parents to decide, for instance, on the education of the children and handing that over to the state. As famously Judge Hardiman, Chief Justice at the time, said it's about transferring power from the parents of the children to people like social workers and judges and politicians. So it's about breaking up, redefining the family, and transferring this power to the state. As we can see there in Dublin this week, where children, without any consultation with parents, have been instructed to call a man they, them. Next thing, there'll be no longer mammy and daddy. It'll be parent 1, parent 2, parent 3, parent 4, polyamory, I don't know, all these different forms of relationships. Man and his 2 girlfriends, man and man, gender fluid, bisexual, whatever, polyamorous, all these different people as they identify. There's as many genders as there are people, or as many genders as there are people's imagination. But we know that babies only come from the union of a man and a woman, a male and a female, and that is the foundation of our civilization and the continuance of the Irish people as a nation is founded on heteronormative heaven, and it's not on this sick, dangerous gender ideology. And these referenda is getting rid of language of sex, ignoring biology, redefining the family, giving more power to the state, and that the state and the government will be masters of your children rather than you as a parent having protection of them. So my name is Hermann Kelly. I'd ask you to come join the party, support us in our fight to protect parental rights and protect children from these dangerous ideologues who want their greasy hands on your children to corrupt their minds and get their greasy hands on your children's body. I have no doubt that ultimately is what these referenda will result in. Gora Magota, Slán Hispanic.